I thought I would start us with this quote from John O'Donohue, and he says, "Our bodies know that we belong to life, to spirit. It is our minds that make us so homeless." Well, I'll read it one more time. Our bodies know that we belong to life, to spirit. It is our minds that make us so homeless. And so when we stop to consider, the moments of life that we felt most alive, most connected, or most at ease, it really is when we're awake in our senses and our bodies. I'm remembering that first smell of a newborn, like taking that in, or climbing up a mountain and feeling your body, hugging a good friend, and really being present to that warmth and that connection. And it's when our attention, our mind is in the present through the body. And yet, if we think about how we spend the majority of our days, I don't know about you, but most of my time is spent up in my mind thinking. And not that thinking is necessarily bad, but we are lost in thought. We're consumed in thought, planning for what could be around the corner, planning the future, or ruminating about what happened, or judging ourselves, judging other people, or just sort of distracted, right? Lost on the internet, checking our phones. And so I thought we would begin actually just with a little bit of self-reflection around how often am I in my body, awake in my senses, and what is between me and really being in my body. So if it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes for this reflection. And as we arrive together in this place of real curious and non-judgmental contemplation, just noticing how aware you are of your body right now. Since the beginning of this Zoom time together, have you been in your body? Noticing hands or feet, or belly, really feeling yourself here. And as you think about just today, since you woke up this morning, how have you been in your body? How often have you been aware of the body? Upon waking up, is there an awareness of feeling the softness of the sheets on the skin, feeling the breath? And how many moments today have you been in the mind, thinking, planning, judging, distracted, or rushing around? And so when you feel ready, take your time, you can open the eyes. So I find that reflection quite humbling. If you're similar to me, it's alarming how often it's just up in the mind. And so the question is, why do we leave the body? Why do we leave the body? And while the body is, as we discussed, the source of our vitality and our connection to each other and intimacy and ease, feeling the sun, on our skin, it's also through the body that we experience pain, that we experience loss, that we experience really the vulnerability of being alive, of being mortal beings on this planet. And the raw intensity of emotion can feel really overwhelming. And for many of us, if we had childhoods where there wasn't a really steady, safe support, emotional support, these experiences were happening And we didn't have the tools or the consciousness, that support to digest them, to process them. And so all of those feelings are still in the body. So we become really skilled masters at leaving the body and going into the mind, because the mind gives us this false sense of control. And I've really been exploring this over the past week, knowing that this was the topic today, of how often there's just sort of this like wanting to check my email or check a text, and pausing in that and just saying like, wait, what's happening? And it's really because there's this sense of like, I gotta be on my game. I gotta make right now feel more important or more secure or more productive. And so we go into these patterns of obsessively planning, thinking, ruminating, judging ourselves, judging others, distracting ourselves, numbing ourselves with food, or just being really speeding around all the time, being in that hyperproductive mode, because it gives a false sense of control. And yet the cost of that is, one, it doesn't actually work. We're still human, and we're still going to experience the vulnerability of being alive. And the cost of it comes really at this level of intimacy with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. That when we think about it, when you're in your head, we're not in our hearts. We can't fully be available to a loved one, to a child, to a friend. When we're in our heads, we can't fully be available to nature and taking in and receiving. And so it really does require this willingness to meet what's present, those layers of discomfort that perhaps we've been avoiding, or we didn't have the safety or the support to meet and process at the time that the difficulty was happening. And so I think, as we've talked about trauma, I think sometimes we think about trauma as like this major catastrophic life event. And the way that we talk about trauma is the everyday trauma of being alive, of not having the resources to process difficulty in the moment that it's happening, and that then it is in the body. And so a really helpful daily practice, this comes from the meditation teacher Tara Brach, is to simply ask ourselves the question, what am I unwilling to feel right now? So often what is between being in our bodies and being in our heads is this willingness to touch into what feels uncomfortable. And sometimes it's just a very light edginess. And sometimes it's really deep pain or sorrow. Fear is experienced, through the body. And so this willingness to touch into these layers as we bring our attention back into the body. And the good news is we don't have to do it all at once. We move into the body in a way that feels appropriate and tender and kind. And so as a daily practice, I offer this between now and the next time we meet, which is just to simply, when you notice yourself really in that obsessive thinking, or judging yourself, or judging another person, or reaching for that distraction. Oh my gosh, a cell phone. Is that a really good teacher for a flag for when we're disconnecting? Or when we're just in that hyperproductive, speedy mode, to pause, to name it, like, oh, okay, obsessive thinking, or oh, this is judging. Just notice it, name it without judgment, and then take a few deep breaths, drop into the body, and simply ask the question, what is needing to be felt right now? Or what am I unwilling to feel right now? And then, as we explored last week, to meet whatever is there with kindness, to bring that deep tenderness, that compassionate quality to whatever we find. And that process, doing it even for just 10 seconds, staying present with the discomfort that might be there for just 10 seconds, it's really powerful. We don't have to stay there for any longer than feels comfortable, feels safe. So I offer that as just sort of a daily practice of just, oh, okay, come into the body. What needs to be felt, or what am I unwilling to feel right now? And to meet it with kindness. And then another really helpful tool, and this is the meditation that I'll guide us through, is really a daily practice of coming into the body. I've heard the word used of being in communion with the body, like actively cultivating a relationship with this energy that is a part of nature that we are in, and doing that daily. And one of my favorite ways of doing that is through a tender body scan, of bringing that curiosity to all the various parts of the body and meeting whatever is arising with a quality of friendliness, and doing it regularly. You know, this return home to our senses, home to being in the body. So in a moment, I'll have us close our eyes, and I'll guide us through this practice. And during the practice, if at any time you notice that the mind is wanting to really get away from the body, you might ask yourself, what am I unwilling to feel right now? Or what is between me and being in my body? I like that question as well. What is between me? And sometimes it's like, I've just got a lot of things to do before I can be in my body. Or I need to perfect this part of my body before I can be in my body. Or I need to, so just letting that question land however it does in that moment. And then, as always, please take care of yourself. So if you go into a part of the body that feels too overwhelming or too edgy, feel free to move your attention to another part of the body. That's an active self-compassion. And may mean we just need more resourcing before really moving into that place. So this meditation will be about 15 minutes. So when you feel ready, you can let the eyes close. And contacting what brings us together, really this willingness to wake up, this willingness to be fully present to the human experience, its joys and its sorrows. And sensing the support that is around you right now. Feeling the support of the space that you're in. Feeling the support of the community that is here together. And I invite you first just to notice that the body's breathing. No need to change the breath or control the breath. In the way you might pay attention to the delicacy of a spring flower. Paying attention to the intricacy, the subtlety of breathing in and breathing out. And if the image of a little half smile is a helpful way for you to cultivate this inner tenderness, this warmth, this willingness to meet whatever is present here in the body with kindness, with care. Whatever is arising is welcome. And so beginning here, noticing the left thumb finger, and the left pointer finger, the middle finger, the fourth finger, the pinky finger. Filling now the left palm, the top of the left hand with awareness. Noticing the whole left hand. From the inside out, sensation ebbing and flowing. Meeting this left hand with tenderness. Moving the attention to the right thumb finger, the pointer finger, the third finger, the fourth finger, the fifth finger. Noticing the right palm, the top of the right hand. Filling now the whole right hand with kind attention. Feeling from the inside out the aliveness, vibration of this hand. Moving the attention now to the space right between the eyes. Out across to the corners of the eyes. Noticing the jaw connecting the upper and lower palate of the mouth. Noticing the tongue inside the mouth. And the cheeks, forehead. And filling now the whole face with a tender awareness. Noticing the dance and play of sensation. Met with friendliness. Moving the attention to the left big toe, the second toe, the middle toe, the fourth toe, and the left pinky toe. Noticing the space along the bottom of the left foot, arch into the heel, top of the left foot. Filling the whole left foot with awareness. Sensation, pulsation, pleasant or unpleasant, met with friendliness. Noticing the right big toe, second toe, the third toe, the fourth toe, the fifth toe. Feeling along the bottom of the right foot to the arch and the heel, the top of the right foot. Sensing the whole right foot, filled with awareness. Moving the attention to the pelvis. Wherever you feel your bum making contact with the support below you. From along the bottom of the pelvis, traveling inside. This can be a very vulnerable part of the body, the whole pelvic girdle. Noticing sensation, or perhaps numbness. And meeting whatever is being noticed with tenderness. And from the pelvis, traveling down the upper left leg. Filling the whole upper left leg with awareness. Noticing the space inside the left knee. Down into the calf and the shin. Continuing into the ankle. Through the foot to the tips of the toes. Filling the whole left leg with a tender awareness, meeting sensation with friendliness. And bringing the attention now back to the pelvic region. Noticing the difference between having spent time with the left leg versus the pelvis. There might be a very different energy, very different quality. Just noticing. Noticing now the upper right leg. Filling the whole upper right leg with awareness. Into the right knee. And down the lower right leg, calf and the shin. To the right ankle. And through the right foot to the toes. Noticing now the whole right leg. Filled with a friendly, tender attention. And bringing the attention now to the navel area, deep in the belly. And as we experience emotion in the body, primarily in the front side of the torso, might become aware of feelings that are present. And allowing whatever sensations that are a manifestation of feeling to be as they are, met with tenderness. If there's difficulty there, inclining with kindness and compassion towards whatever is wanting to be felt or needing to be felt. And from the belly, moving the attention up towards the rib cage. And from the rib cage, up into the heart area. Noticing the mood, the tone of the heart felt through the body. And resting back as awareness itself, this willingness to meet, to be with and experience what is present in the heart. And as always, if bringing a hand to the heart or to the belly is a helpful way of really embodying this compassionate awareness, touch is a very powerful way of cultivating embodiment. Really sensing the support that is here, is present. Noticing the backside of the heart, so the space between the shoulder blades behind the heart. And traveling from between the shoulder blades up into the tops of the shoulders, place we often unknowingly grip in self-protection and busyness. Just noticing what's there and inviting these sensations to float in loving awareness. Continuing up the back of the neck to the space where the spine meets the head there. There's a little hinge. And from that hinge at the top of the spine, in your own time, traveling the entire length of the spine all the way down to the pelvis, feeling the whole back side of the body, the torso. Moving the attention now back to the top of the head, the very top of the head, where the skull meets the air above you. And sensing the space inside the whole body, from the crown of the head all the way down to the tips of the toes. And as you notice the body as a whole here, if there is any part of the body where it feels easeful to rest your attention, it might be the hands. For some, it's the sensations in the feet, the groundedness of feeling support below the bum. Might be the facial muscles. If there's any part of the body where it feels natural to rest your attention there. Finding a space of ease in the body is a very skillful way of giving ourselves a place to rest, sort of a ground. For others, it might be the sensation of the body breathing, a refuge, place to rest the attention. And in these last moments of our practice, allowing the attention to rest in any part of the body that feels like a good home. It might be helpful to ask these questions of inquiry. What is needing to be felt right now? Perhaps, what am I unwilling to feel right now? We can hold this place of non-judgmental curiosity and rest in any part of the body that feels safe or grounded or at ease. And I invite you to linger here as long as you like, as long as you need. And the birds near me are clearly having opinions about what's going on. And when the time feels right to slowly open the eyes, you can take your time. Right. And we'll have a few moments to reflect either in writing or just silently to yourself, and then a few moments to share as a group of what is your experience of coming into the body? Are there places in the body that you have a lot of sensation, places that feel more edgy, places where there's numbness? Essentially, what did you notice in that body scan? And then the second question being, is there a place in the body that feels like a really, we call it a safe refuge, kind of you can go rest in your hands. It's this place to land, or rest in the sensations in your face or in your feet. And then the third question being, what is it that needs to be felt? Or what am I unwilling to feel? What did you notice in that practice there?